So, what do you do if you have a bad boss? So we've all been there. Not all bosses are perfect. Not all bosses are going to be as great as your parents were, or as good as you think in your head, or as you've seen in novels. So we've been in a place where your boss is just not nice. Could be a better person. So what do you actually do when when you're in that situation? You're in the situation where you just either want to quit your job or tell your boss to f off. So the first thing actually is assess if you actually still want the job. Like, look into yourself, like look into if this is still something that you want to do. Because if you can't move to steps 2 and 3, which I'm going to give you in a little bit, if you don't assess, is it still something you keep wanting to do? Is it a job that you might want to upgrade into something else, or want to learn a new skill, or see what else is out there? So that's the first thing. Before you want to do anything else with your boss, first assess if it's still something that you really want to do. Now, if the answer is yes, then step 2 is actually talk to your boss. Now, this is coming from someone who is like taking care of people, who manages people, but just talk to your boss. It might be a misunderstanding. It might have been that you caught your boss on a bad day, or you heard something that just wasn't right and you thought they were horrible forever and ever, or just a first impression. Talk to your boss. You never know what can come out with just a quick one-on-one meeting or coffee with your boss to kind of air out whatever it was that you're feeling, that you're like, sir, you did this one time, just clear the air out. And if that helps, that is kind of like, that has helped so much. Like, as someone, like I said, I manage a lot of people online. When they just talk to me, everything is so much easier and clearer, rather than when they just assume things on their own. Now, I've been on the other side where I've been like, oh, that boss, yeah, did this to me that one time, I never like him anymore. And I've been there, and I just talked to my boss. Now, that's the second step, because first you have to know. That's why you have to know if you still want the job, because it's not worth it to talk to your boss if you don't even like it, if you don't plan to stay. So the second part is talk to your boss. Now, the third step after, let's say you say that, okay, you do like your job, you talk to your boss, and your boss just isn't nice. Step 3 is you might have to start looking for other jobs. A lot of things that are toxic to ourselves is when we choose to stay in a bad situation, and you shouldn't do that. That's just like, the world is so abundant, it's so big, it's so huge, so beautiful also. So if you have yourself stuck in a place where you don't want to be, why? It's an infinite possibilities, an infinite place where you can find other jobs, you can find better bosses who actually will listen to you, will actually open up to you, or be vulnerable enough to say, this is why I did that, I'm sorry, I apologize, I will do better. So those are kind of like, you have to just realize that, just that fact of, there's so much work out there. You might be listening all of these bad news of unemployment and all that, but then there's a lot of things that you don't know about the world, especially with the internet out there. There's just too many things that you might know now, and then you don't know what to choose. So there's other options for you. If you've been someone who's been working an office job and you want to shift into maybe working from home, that's a possibility. If you want to be someone who's working from home, you want to shift an office, that's another possibility. It's just, you have to think, out of the 7 billion people in the world, there's just a lot of varieties, a lot of different things, a lot of cultures that blend together. So you got to find where you actually fit, where you actually want to go, if steps 1, 2 doesn't work. So again, how to beat, or how to get out, or how to deal with a bad boss. The first one is assess if you still want the job. See if it's actually still something you want to do. 2 is then talk to your boss. Actually have a one-on-one with them. Have a coffee. Have that awkward conversation so you don't have to keep spiraling in your head that they did this one time. And then the third thing is find another job, find another opportunity, find something that you actually also want to do. That's why I always want to go back, before you want to do anything, before you want to move forward, assess if it's still something you want to do, because then step 2 is easier, and then it clears the air. And the third one, again, if you've already talked to your boss, and the third one, since you've already seen, okay, this is actually a job I still want to do, just not with this boss, you can change your situation. Just keep that in mind. You can change your situation, whatever it is. that was it for this video. Thank you guys for listening. If you guys need any help at all with either finding a job online or finding your own executive assistant, I am Leanne Lacaba. I run a executive assistant services here in the Philippines. And you can just email me at leanne@2xu.com. And I'll see you guys in the next video.